My name's Wendy Fox, and I'm a designer and illustrator. This was the first Olympics in the history of Olympics that every country that was competing had at least one woman on their team. So I started with a spreadsheet, just a really simple, like Google spreadsheet, and I collected that basic data was what I was going to work with, and then I tried to figure out a pretty simple, controlled way to represent all these athletes. So I had them all in the same position, in a kind of modular way. I didn't want to show their faces. I didn't want it to be about what they look like. I wanted to represent the sport. And then I thought, well, I should do a website. And it's really simple. Like, it's a pretty basic website. It's not my area of expertise. So I put it together, but I wanted it to be searchable and sort of somewhat interactive. So you can search by height, which is how the poster works. But you can also sort by weight, you can sort by age, and you can sort by sport. So it was meant to inspire, I think, to sort of see that sport's more accessible than a lot of girls and women think that it really is. A lot of sort of myths I had about athletes started shifting. The fastest woman in the world, I'm not tall, I'm like 160 centimeters, I'm 5'3". The fastest woman in the world is 152 centimeters. She's 5 foot. She's tiny. She's the fourth shortest of all the women who won gold medals. And statistically, I think 5% of all sports coverage, just annual, all the time, is only 5% is of women. I think for multiple years, Sports Illustrated never had like a female on their cover, other than when they do the swimsuit edition, which is a whole different thing because that's really about being a model. And I think for the year, there was a couple of years there wasn't one at all, and then 2012 there was, and it was of the US gymnastics team in full makeup. I think about 6 years ago, the Associated Press did a survey of the top 10 Australian female athletes, which is fine. It's absolutely fine, except 2 of those athletes were horses. A lot of the big battles that a lot of athletes, especially swimmers or even weightlifters, will have to contend with if they want endorsement so that they can afford to make this their profession. They need endorsement. They're then told they need to look a certain way to do those ads. So a lot of swimmers are told to lose weight so they look good modeling, but then they've got to compete, and then they don't compete as well because they're not as strong. And it's not asked of men. And it has this trickle-down effect of, when funding's cut for a sport to be watched for women, then they have to go get regular jobs, which means, people say, well, people don't want to watch female sport because it's not like if it's football or basketball or something like that. They don't want to watch it because it's not as exciting as the man. They don't play as well, but they have to have regular jobs. They don't get to train the way male athletes do. And so it has this sort of trickle-down effect. If they don't have the coverage, they don't get the funding, and then they don't play as well because they can't give it the importance that they want to give it. It took a long time. Like, I was doing it on the side. It wasn't, and I think it's just that thing of doing your own project. I think so many creative people have described the process of, I've got an idea, it's great, I've got this great idea, and then you actually start working, it's not such a good idea. And you're sort of in the doldrums for a while, and then you come up out of it again. So I think it was just trusting that it was going to be of interest, because it was a lot to generate. Oh my God, it means so much. It means I get to come here. It's just nice to know that the work was recognized as well. Like, it's okay. Because when you're doing it for so long, is this silly? Is this kind of stupid? What am I doing? So that it's very validating. It's really, really validating. And it's encouraging to keep going. I've thought about trying to do it for Rio. Haven't fully closed that door, but we'll see. It's a pretty big undertaking. and I would do it differently if I was going to do it again.